Hello everyone, it's Lindsay and I am back with session 3 of the Stronger Together devotional kit from Illustrated Faith and DaySpring. And for today's entry, I will actually be documenting the devotional card since it does have verse Ecclesiastes 4:9, but we'll be kind of talking about 9 through 12, which I will be talking about in here in just a second. But I wanted to keep the entry pretty simple and easy. It's just going to be lots of stamping. And so I wanted to show you a different way that you could use the bonus stamp set that you could pick up with this devotional kit. And so I've also pulled out some alpha stamps. These in particular are from Felicity Jane. Felicity Jane's shop is on hold right now while they move to a different state, but I will try to find some other ones and link them down below, but just use whatever alpha stamps you have in your stash. I think alphas are one of those stamps that are kind of a good one if you're trying to decide what products are kind of must-haves. Not that they're must-haves, but they're super versatile. You can use them again and again and again. So I have quite a few different kind of font type alpha stamps. So I will be stamping with that. I will be using a big brush marker for this kind of orangish color here. And then I'm also going to pull out some older Illustrated Faith pigment inks. The black pigment ink is still available. I will link it down below, but the colored pigment inks by Illustrated Faith are no longer available. So you can either stamp with any brand of pigment ink, or you could stamp with Gelato's, Neo Color 2, brush markers, whatever you have in your stash. Don't feel like you need to rush out and buy something, but I thought I would use up some of those pigments colors since they kind of match the kit. So I'm just going to go through and stamp out "We Are Stronger Together." And these verses here in Ecclesiastes, so we're looking at Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 12, say, "Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if two lie together, they keep warm, but how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken." And so this series of passages is written by King Solomon, and it's in the Old Testament. And basically what he's saying here is that there is an importance to having relationships with other humans, to not be a loner. Of course, God is, number one in our lives, but it is also important to have other people in your life, and they can be there to help support you, encourage you, but also for you to support and encourage others. And so this imagery of the three cord, I had thought about doing something with that on this page, but I decided to keep it simple. But basically it's you, others, and then having God entwined in those relationships makes very strong relationships. So I love that the devotional card for this day prompts you to spend some time physically sitting and praying with somebody for something that they need prayer for. And I think that's such a great encouragement and reminder for us to not just be inwardly focused and thinking about ourselves and what we need, but to reach out and to make an effort to be there for others. And so I do love the prompts of the kit this month and how they really encourage you to make connections with other people. I still keep seeing comments about the lack of Bible verses. I don't think that there's a lack of Bible verses. There aren't Bible verses specifically on the session cards, but there are tons of Bible verses on the back of die cuts and on the verse journaling cards and things like that. So don't feel like you don't want to pick up this kit because there aren't Bible verses. There are Bible verses. You just kind of have to look through the kit and make connections on your own with the devotional content. So on screen, I have moved on to stamping with that triangle stamp. So I wanted to show you, yes, this stamp set is great for making little cities and neighborhoods and buildings and things like that, but also encourage you to look at these individually and what you can do with the stamps to get a lot of versatility out of them. So I love the geometric shapes in here, and so I pulled out those triangles. There's two different sizes with a solid and an outline, and I'm just going to stamp those around the page in colors that coordinate with the kit and just kind of create this really simple geometric pattern. So like I said, these, that green and the yellow are Illustrated Faith pigment inks. Those are no longer available. The pink one is a Versa Magic, I believe, or something like that. Those are really actually great pigment inks, and so I will try to link those down below for you guys, and you can just find colors that kind of coordinate with the kit. And so I really overthought the design of this. I knew I wanted like this geometric sprinkle, but I don't know. I really kind of fussed with it to make sure it was exactly how I wanted it to look, which is silly, whatever. One plus of using the pigment inks and the brush markers is that you can still read the text through the ink. And so even though I've stamped over the top of Bible text, I can still read every single word. And that's actually why I chose to use the Illustrated Faith black pigment ink. I know I never use that on my channel. Is not one of my favorites just because it's not super intense black. But that is why I chose to use it today, because I knew I was going to be stamping over text and I can read the text through this ink. Also, I'm not using any wet medium, so I don't have to worry about it running because this is not a waterproof ink, and it does not bleed through the Bible page because it's a pigment ink. So I can work on the back side of this page and not have any issues. So since I was just sticking to stamping, I decided to go ahead and just use pigment inks. Now at this point I thought I would only stamp the outline on a few of the triangles, and so have some outlined and some not, and then I kind of sat back and didn't like that. So I came back in and stamped the outline on all of them, and that just kind of brought in more of the black and added some contrast. So I'm trying to leave myself plenty of room on that left hand side to write a prayer. I ended up writing a really long prayer and write right over the top of the ink, but since those colors are pretty light colors, I was able to write my journaling right over the top of it, no problem. So at this point I decided to bring in some more of that orangey color from the word stronger. So I've pulled out the little cross stamp in the stamp set, and I'm using that same big brush marker. I will link my blog post down below. You can head on over. I'll have a photo of my swatches of the markers that I pulled out to match this kit if you're curious, and you can kind of see what I color matched with that. And so I'm using one of those markers. I'm not 100%, maybe Pale Geranium Lake is this color. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but it will be linked. And so I'm just kind of sprinkling those around. There's some really cute little like asterisks and hearts and crosses and things on that stamp set. There's a lot of things. You can even take those little lines that are supposed to be like awnings, and you could do little like, I don't know, like a pattern of those. There's a lot of different ways that you can use the stamp set and not just buildings. So there aren't really any tabs that come in this month's kit, and so I'm making my own tab. I have a piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to use that same cross stamp and stamp it out several times in the different colors and create my own kind of patterned cardstock. And then I'll take the We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. That is a must-have also for me. That way I'm not having to buy a bunch of tabs. I can make my own tabs and punch them out super quick. And I'll punch that out, and then I have a tab ready to go. So I would definitely encourage you to kind of make your own patterns and things, and that way you can really customize your tabs to match your entries if that's something that you want to do. So I went ahead and removed the like plastic backer off of my tab punch so that I could see through it and see where I'm cutting. And I will go ahead and use one of the clear stickers that comes in the kit that says encourage. And just reminding myself to encourage others and to have relationships with others, and asking God just to help me be better about that. Off screen, I did come back in and underline the verses, add a date stamp, and that is it for the entry today. So if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. Head on over to the blog post for more close-up photos and links to the products used. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.